Nintendo just announced that they'll reveal the successor to the Switch, so what can we expect from this announcement? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I thought it'd be worth taking a look at what we might see from Nintendo about this new system. Now, I'm just going to cover the things I think we're going to see in this announcement, not pretty much all the leaks that are out there, but what would they actually show when it comes to revealing their new hardware. So I think the first and most obvious thing is the name of the system, which we pretty much are sure is going to be Switch 2. There have been multiple credible sources supporting this, including a GameStop listing for a micro SD card that has literally Switch 2 EXP micro SD card as well as Switch 2 carry case. We've also seen what are renderings of what's supposed to be the Switch 2 logo, and I also anticipate a sleek new animated logo. Now, the current design mimics the Joy-Con snapping down, so I anticipate that the updated version will feature the Joy-Con snapping sideways, adding a fresh twist to the branding. Next, I think we're going to see an 8-inch screen get confirmed here. We've already seen multiple mock-ups that were based on those CAD files that pretty much support this. And Nintendo will want to show off that larger screen to give gamers something to be excited for and an upgrade. I'll admit I don't play in handheld all that often because my eyes are getting older, and it becomes a little harder to read the text in something like a JRPG. And we're expecting the screen to be 1080p, but the system will output 4K when docked. Next, I think we'll see that U-shaped kickstand. Again, this is all based on the CAD diagrams that were leaked out. And we've seen 3D printed mock-ups like what Genki had at CES last week. And I think we'll basically see this when the system's in tabletop mode, because I don't think there's any significant benefit to the U-shaped kickstand aside from Nintendo just saving some on materials. Next, I think we're going to see that the Switch 2 includes 2 USB ports, with the top USB-C port specifically designed to charge the system while in tabletop mode. Additionally, this port could potentially support accessories like an add-on camera or other peripherals, but I'll touch on that in just a minute. However, if such accessories are introduced, we'll likely see some kind of disclaimer such as the accessories sold separately. And now for the magnetic Joy-Cons. Nintendo plans to showcase how the new Joy-Cons attach to the console and how the eject button functions to release them. Now, I'm calling it an eject button, they may call it a release button, but we'll find out later. And there's been plenty of discussion surrounding the durability of this mechanism, but I believe it'll be much stronger than initially expected. We had those leaks from Next Handheld that revealed the system's design, showing how the Joy-Con slots securely into the main unit. This design would make it significantly harder to bend the Joy-Con sideways and compromise the magnetic connection. Pulling a magnet directly apart is inherently more challenging than applying, say, a lateral force, which adds to the system's overall robustness. Now, when it comes to the dock, I don't think we'll see any in-depth information here, just the typical system sliding in and out of the dock. From what has been gathered from shipping data and what we've seen of the dock in leaked pictures, there doesn't seem to be any kind of remote play built into the dock. There's been speculation that that mystery C button could be for cast, but I kind of doubt that. Nowhere in any of the shipping data was there any indication that there's a wireless card inside of the dock for the Switch 2 to connect to. And while we're talking about the mystery C button, we just had a data mine this week that points to what Nintendo is calling codename Campus, which appears to be a chat feature that supports group chat as well as voice chat with up to 12 NSO members. And I feel like there'll be more to this Campus feature than just in-game chat. Perhaps an actual app that's included with the Switch 2, much like what we had with the Wii U. And no, I'm not talking about a Miiverse thing, but something that'll allow you to interact with people on your friends list. Since the codename is Campus, I expect this to be like a place where you might be able to hang out and interact with your friends. Now, this is just all speculation on my part. We don't have anything that really points to that. I'm just hypothesizing. But something like this could also be a use case scenario for a camera that could attach to the top of the system through that USB-C port. Now again, there really isn't any concrete evidence that the C button will activate this Campus function, but it seems most likely since Campus begins with C, it seems like that might be a logical link there. Now I want to move back to the Joy-Cons for just a second. We've seen what appears to be an optical sensor on the inside edge of one of those Joy-Cons. I think we'll see these new Joy-Cons use a feature like a mouse. We could see some kind of like Mario Paint type application demonstrated, but I think one of the most obvious uses for this would be like some kind of first-person shooter. But ever since I've seen this optical sensor in the Joy-Con, I've had a little theory, and this is just my personal speculation, but you could use that optical sensor to detect when an accessory moves. Say you put the Joy-Con in something like a fishing rod type accessory, the optical sensor could be used to detect the reeling motion in the accessory while you use the gyro controls on the Joy-Con to detect the motion of the rod. And that's just one example I can think of. I'm sure other people could think of a lot more clever things than I would. Now I think we'll also get a look at what the operating system looks like. We're already expecting it to use the same OS as the current Switch, but we expect there'll probably be some enhancements. Now whether or not that gives us actual themes for the Switch 2, I don't know just for sure, but I would expect it to run faster and look better. So those are the things I think we might see at this presentation. However, I think there's some things that we're not going to see. First, I don't think we're going to see anything about clock speed or the amount of memory the system has or what the SoC is. Nintendo doesn't really push stats like that out. Now we may see an article somewhere from like say The Verge that has an exclusive interview that gives us more tech details on the system, so you'll want to keep an eye out for something like that just after the reveal. Now to go along with hardware specs, I don't think we're going to see how much onboard storage the system has unless there are two different SKUs with different storage amounts, but I kind of doubt that that's going to happen. I'm thinking Nintendo learned their lesson with the Wii U and how two different storage options seem to not work because, well, most gamers wanted to get the system with the larger storage. So why not just sell one system and then have the option for adding that express micro SD card if you need more storage. Now we're not expecting any software announcements since this is supposed to be an introduction to the hardware. However, if that does hold true, it raises an important question. How will Nintendo showcase the new features? They might use a simple generic first-person shooter to demonstrate the new Joy-Con's mouse functionality, or perhaps use that fishing rod accessory example I gave earlier. Now, although I don't think we'll see any new game announcements, we could see some existing games that haven't been ported to the Switch yet due to the technical limitations. There have been some rumors of ports of games like, say, Final Fantasy Remake that could be coming to the Switch too, so it makes sense to kind of just show that running in the background, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Metroid Prime 4 running on this. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to see any kind of announcement of, say, a cross-gen version of Metroid Prime 4, or maybe just kind of the enhanced features that it might get if you play it on the Switch 2, because I definitely feel like that game's going to have some type of upgrade for Switch 2 at the very least. Now, not showing any new software with this new system does present a challenge to Nintendo, and that's how do you get gamers to believe that they need to pick up this new system? And another thing that they'll need to be careful of is to not cause any kind of confusion, like sort of what happened with the Wii U when many people assumed that it was merely an add-on for the Wii. But in this case, some people could just see this as a new Switch that has a bigger screen and new gimmicks. Now when it comes to the price, I'm not expecting Nintendo to reveal the price of the system just yet. I think they want to build some hype, even if it's for just say a few weeks until we see the actual price. However, from everything I've read, I'm expecting the system to be between $400 and $450. Right now, the OLED model still goes for $350, so I can't see Nintendo pricing the Switch 2 at that level without a major cut to the OLED model, which we already know from Nintendo's financial briefings that it has a lower profit margin on the Switch OLED when you compare it to the standard Switch or even the Switch Lite. And then the final thing that I'm kind of seeing as a gray area right now is whether or not they'll tell us what the release date is going to be. I think if the system truly is coming out in March, they're going to have to reveal that right away because pre-orders are probably going to start within a few weeks after this. However, if the system isn't released until say June, which a lot of people are speculating may be the case, I think they might wait until a software-focused trailer comes out in order to reveal the release date. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you expect to see at Nintendo's presentation of the Switch successor? How much do you think the system will cost? What new gimmicks do you believe will be in it? And when do you think we'll actually find out what the release date is? Drop your comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. It really does help out a lot. I'm pretty close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. At that point, I can get into the next tier of YouTube's partnership. So if you could help out with that, I'd really appreciate it. I want to thank you for watching and be good.